2 little hand weights today. And again, at any point you can do it without the weights, you can just float about with your arms, that's fine too. Right, so let's get ourselves set and ready to go. So feet narrow, weight into your heels, lengthening through your spine, and just relaxing down with your shoulders. A little tuck at the bottom, a little brace through your core, and then when you're ready, just taking a step forward, lifting the arms and stepping back. You can imagine you have a really big beach ball in your hands and you're going to throw it over your head. And then as your arms come just in front of your face, a little brace through your core as you throw the ball. Use the out breath as you lift and reach, and a little breath in to release. As you step forward, keep the feet hip distance apart, a little bend into the front knee, and as you step back, pushing out your heel. This time throw your ball over your right shoulder, and then over your left shoulder. So we get a little side bend, just lifting the ribs slightly up away from the hips. Start to allow your eye gaze to follow your hands, or your imaginary beach ball. And again, keeping the feet hip distance, you step forward, definitely helps with the balance. Once more on each side, and then staying in the centre and stepping out to your right. Hands to your chest and take the arms nice and wide. So you're going to breathe in, breathe out, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Morning down, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. So as you draw the arms back, open the chest, slide the shoulder blades towards each other, and almost let all of your body weight move over to your right, and then start to pull yourself back in with your left leg. And twice more. Now we're going to keep moving with the same leg. So when you're ready, your right leg steps back, take a twist to your left, and then step forward. Again, either a small step or a longer step. If you're taking a longer step, let the back knee bend a little bit more towards the ground, and aim to keep your shoulders stacked above your hips as you turn. So keep the bottom a little squeeze just before you turn. That's going to help stabilise the hips. Keep the length also into the neck. So as you rotate through the upper body, you can feel the rotation through the neck as well. Again, nice strong push through that front heel, and twice more. Hip distance apart as you step back. So again, that helps with your balance. And just take your right leg back, straighten the right leg and the left leg, hands behind the bottom, and a little hinge forward from the hips. Try and just slightly push your left hip back. And as you tip forward, and you really focus on keeping the hips nice and square to the front. As you hinge forward, Mona Lindsay, lifting your tailbone slightly up towards the ceiling, and keeping that little squeeze between your shoulder blades. So it keeps our upper back in a nice lengthened, neutral position. And then we feel the movement just coming from the hip and releasing the hamstrings. And 2 more here. Stepping back into the centre, feet back under hips, and then over to your left. So hands to chest, arms out wide. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, feel the shoulder blades pull together. As you bring the arms out, kind of level with your breastbone rather than up by your shoulders. So you can still feel that you're pulling your shoulder blades down to the back of the rib cage the whole time. Now feel all your weight moves across. Feel the stretch in the inner right thigh. And start to use that right leg to pull yourself back into the centre. 3 to go. Breathing in, out with a lift, into stride, out to rise. Now same leg again, this time the leg steps back. So step back, take a twist and step forward. When you step forward, don't put the foot flat on the floor. Just try and come onto the ball of the foot. So that way we're keeping all the weight in that front heel. Just before you turn the upper body, give the bottom a little squeeze. And again, hands just level or just below your breastbone. So that allows us to keep our shoulders relaxed and down. As you turn the upper body, try and keep the knees still. So So again, by squeezing the bottom, that's going to help stabilise the hips and allow more rotation into the spine. One more time. Holding, and stepping your right leg forward, turn it around now, aren't I? Square the hips, straighten that back leg, and then from there, hands onto the bottom, and a little hip hinge. So try and think about keeping good posture through your upper body and creating length down the back of your right thigh. So it's almost like you're lifting the bottom up away from the heels. Softly drawing the belly button towards the spine, so it keeps that connection into our core, which keeps our spine in neutral position. Keeping that squeeze into the shoulder blades definitely helps. And once more here. And then stepping your feet back in underneath your hips. Coming into our squats, so taking the feet, just outside the hips and opening the knees. One squat and rise. Just pulling the shoulder blades back into the spine. Now option to come to an alternating knee lift. And if you find the knee lift difficult, just tap the foot in, squat, and again keeping the heel lifted as you step in to centre. Or if you're lifting the knee, no higher than your hip. So we're still trying to keep our pelvis level as we lift the knee. We'll use the arms, squeeze back into the shoulder blades. Try and get them to touch in the middle. And then see if you can be a little bit taller each time when you rise. As you rise, keep the standing knee just ever so slightly soft, just so it doesn't lock the knee joint out, and that encourages a little bit more work through the outer thigh and the hips. Once more each way, and then your last one here, and step down. Right, do little lunges, alternating lunges, stepping back with the right leg, nice big lift of the arms, and step forward. Left leg strides back, and we circle the arms. So come just in front of the face, palms turn away, and then press your palms down towards the thighs. And again, as you're stepping back, try and keep the feet hip distance apart. And it's like you're doing breaststroke. As you pull the arms down, you're pushing your head up. Breathing in, out on the rise. And again, we're aiming to find that stretch into the hip flexor. A little tuck of your tailbone to keep the pelvis level as you lower into your lunge. Big breath in. Shoulder blades squeezing right down to the back of the ribs. And once more on each leg. So hopefully you're feeling a whole lot warmer. And we're going to grab 2 weights this morning. So when you're ready, grab your weights, and again at any point you can put the weights down and just work with the arms. So feet just hip distance apart, shoulders draw back, and we're going to start with a nice easy upright row. It's tempting to lift the shoulder girdle, so to pull the shoulder blades down, keep the chest up, and just push both elbows out wide. Now we're going to use the out breath as we push out with the elbows. Keeping your weight really close to your body. So come right in front of the hips. And again, notice the elbows don't come higher than the shoulders. Think about going wide rather than high. Now we're going to start to tap out the right leg. Tap, reset, tap, reset. So standing knee, nice and soft. Breathing in as you lower, out on the rise. Just 4 more on this side. Just starting to warm the tops of the shoulders. Head up towards the ceiling. So again, the shoulders stay above the hips. And hold. Same leg. Turn your palms in and take your right leg behind. You're going to bring your weights up towards your chest. Bend your front knee and then push out your front heel and take the arms wide. So a little bend and then extending the arms. So breathing in, breathing out to come forwards. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just lightly tapping your back foot, but letting the front knee bend as you reach back. Now palms face down to the floor, and we still feel those shoulder blades pulling together. Soft breath, strong breath. So you feel the bicep curl here, and then the shoulders squeezing together here. And your left buttock starting to work. Last 2. Opening the chest, tapping the foot, opening, and then stepping back into centre. Features of the hips, and just easing some side bends, just to get the waist moving. And that left buttock and shoulders have a little rest. So like the shoulders, just relax down, away from your ears. Anchor your weight evenly through both heels. And again, give the bottom a tuck and a squeeze. So you can feel how the hips are really centred and still. And then so you can go that a little bit further. Again, breathing in on the way down, breathing out on the way up. Feeling the stretch between the hips and the ribs. And then using those muscles to pull the ribs back up in line with the hips. Once more each side. We're going to come back to the upright rows and with the left leg tapping. So when you're ready, first of all, the upright row, stay with just the arms or start to add a little tap. Not putting any weight onto your left foot. Relax your right knee a little and breathe. Out with the lift, in as you lower. Out through the mouth. And just notice as you're taking the foot across, your body doesn't tip to the side. So you're trying to keep the head up to the ceiling, shoulders and hips stay level, and no weight onto that left foot for 3, 2, and your last one. Hold at the bottom, turn your weights in, take your left foot back. So press the heels slightly towards the ground, bending the front knee, curling the weights, and then opening the arms. So bend the front knee, push out the front heel. So the whole time, your left leg stays straight, you're reaching back, and then pushing forwards. Now feel the pointy part of your shoulder blades trying to come together as you open the arms, the very bottom of your shoulder blades. Notice how the hands just come almost level with the hips, no higher. Soft breath in as you reach back. Breathe out to push forwards. Now keep that lift of the chest. Chin into the neck and the spine. Stay aligned as you move. 2 here. And then your last one. And step in. Oh, that's the one at the bottom up. Right, alternating lunges with bicep curls. So your right leg back, your left arm curls. So turn to the shoulder and press forward. Left leg and breathe in through the nose. Out as you push forward. As you lunge, try and get your shoulders stacked above the hips and try not to look down towards the floor because you can see how that will change the position of your spine. So even if it's just a small step, think about the shoulders staying above the hips. Or again, getting a little bit more into the legs. Almost getting that back shin parallel to the ground. We're going to add in your shoulder press. So don't turn the weight into the shoulder, turn it into the centre of your body. Then press back to your thigh. So come to the shoulder, extend and step forward. Small step, still that option. Or again, if you're not using the legs, you can just stand still and work with the arms. The options are all there. Now when you step back, open your front knee from your hip. That's going to help to create more hip stability for your balance. If the knees drop in, the knees become unstable. So knees opening from the hips as you stride back. After this, one more on each side. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Last one here. I've added an extra one. That's nothing new. So weight just outside your thighs. Right leg steps back and we tip forward and row. So step back, row and step forward. Same leg. Step back, pull the elbows in and step forward. Try not to let the head drop forward with the shoulders. So hinge from the hips. Bend the front knee. And you're not reaching too far back, it's just a step. Now try not to put any weight on your right foot as it steps back. Keeping the heel lifted, squeezing into the shoulder blades. And each time you do pull the elbows back, feel your chest opening. 2 to go. Your last one. Now we're going to step a little further back. Keep the back leg straight. Maybe wiggle the foot further back and bend the front knee. And then just gently alternating from one arm to the other. So all good for our upper body posture. Feeling the shoulder blades squeezing towards the spine. Chin in, neck and spine, nice and long. If that left knee is dropping in, pull it out from the hip. And again, that'll create more stability for your hips. And as you brace your core, more stability with the trunk of your body. Your last one here. Hold where you are. Pull the elbows up. Double tricep kick back. So keep lifting the chest. Notice you're still that slight diagonal. You've not got the shoulders above the hips. And just take the weight just above your hips and then stop them right by the side of your hips. So not letting them swing backwards and forwards. It's a controlled squeeze. Right down the backs of the arms. Front knee still slightly open. Weight, you want to feel it sat through the heel. And really squeeze the back of the arms. Breathing out to extend. Breath in to release. 2 to go here. And then your last one. And step back in to centre. Shaking out that leg. Right, when you're ready to step back in the row. So lift your left heel. Step back. Pull the elbows in. And step forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tip, pull, and come forwards. So when you tip, push the bum back. When you push the bum back, the weight goes into the muscle here, and that's what's going to create stability. If the knees come forward instead, there's no muscle where the weight goes. Try and keep it right into the bottom each time. Feels a little bit unnatural sometimes to stick your bottom out, but the more you stick it out, the more it's going to work. Feel the shoulder blades, almost trying to get them to touch. And again, breath in, out, in, out. In through the nose, out to pull, in, out to push forward. Chin in, back and neck nicely aligned. Your last one. Step back, nice long step. And then from here, pull your elbows in. Just work back into the triceps. Try not to let the shoulders roll in towards each other at the front. The more you open the front of your shoulders, the more you get to engage the back of your body. And again, just trying to get the arms straight, but keeping the upper arms still. Sometimes we try and push upwards. Just push back. Feel the squeeze right down the back of the arms. Each time you push back, try and breathe out so you're bracing your core at the same time. 2 to go here. And then we're going to bring the weights back down, just towards the outside of the thighs, shoulders back, and alternating single arm flies. So try not to let your body twist. If your body's having to twist, don't take the weight as high, just lift the weight to where you feel everything stays nicely aligned. I think your cat just turned your mic on and off then, Bob. It's off now though, don't worry. Breathe out with the lift. Chin in. Tailbone, just gently draw it down towards your back heel. Feel that lengthens your lower back and it brings that connection into the abdominals. Holding and stepping in. Shaking the legs. Right, bicep curls with squats this time. So feet outside the hips, single arm curls. Weight slide outside the knees and a bicep curl on the rise. So just coming again to the shoulder, keeping the palm facing inwards and keeping the upper arm nice and close to the rib cage. Now your option to lift the knee, come back into a squat, lift the knee, come back into a squat. And if you don't want to lift the knee, just step in, step out. But whether you're lifting the knee or tapping the foot, make sure you push both knees out at the bottom of your squat. If you're feeling balanced, hold at the top, add a press. Breathing in, out on the lift, breath in through the nose, breathe out, brace your core. And again, as you're pressing the weight over the head, try to keep that tailbone slightly tucked, front of the ribs slightly down, and then softness through that standing knee. Just controlling each part of the movement, sitting into the heels, tapping, or just squatting. So you can just stay with the squat, one more on each side. Control, always about control. I like control. And rest down there. Right, when you're ready from here, to give the shoulders a little release, we're going to come to a side lunge. So weight is just in front of your thighs. Step across, single arm raise, and then step in. Step across, opposite arm lifts, and then step in. So your weight slides across to your right. Shoulders stay above the hips. And if you're feeling super strong, obviously you're allowed to lift both arms. No higher than your shoulders. So shoulders draw down, and the weight just come about level with your breastbone. If they come high, you'll feel your whole shoulder girdle wants to lift. So once you've stepped across, pull the shoulder blades down and keep them pulled down as the arms float forward. Single arms for your option. Keep pressing down through your left foot, and then use that left leg to pull yourself back in. Last two. Core on. Chest high, shoulders down, and then just step wide, feet out nice and wide. If your shoulders are tiring, you can put this weight down in the right left hand, hit to the left, and then we're going to come into our windmills. So it's not like when we do the warm-up where we allow our hips to move. We're focused on keeping the hips still, keeping it gently pushed over to the left. Press down evenly through both feet. And then squeeze the front of your thighs and take that squeeze all the way up into the bottom. And try and keep the spine long as you tip to the side. 3 to go. Rest if your shoulders fatiguing. 2. And your last one. Bring the weights down. Just by your thighs. We can come into a deadlift to release the hamstrings before we do the other side. So roll the shoulders back. Keep your posture, let the weights come towards the outside of the knees and then push up through the heels. We don't want to bend the back. We need to tip from the hips and keep that length into the spine. Now as you push the bottom back and lift it up ever so slightly, that's where you'll feel the stretch down the back of the legs. As you feel stretch into the back of the legs, push the heels into the floor. And that's going to use your hamstrings to pull your hips right back in with the shoulders. Next time, we're going to add a double row. So feel the deadlift, pull in with the elbows, and then drive forward with the hips. Shoulder blades coming together. Oh, we're going to have such strong shoulders today. Now again, feel like you're trying to get your elbows really close to your ribs. So your forearm skims across the top of your hip bone, and the weights come back towards the outside of the knees. Don't forget to push through the heels to rise, and then almost lift the bottom a little bit more if you can, keeping the chest lifted to keep the back in neutral, and one more time, and then we come back to the tops of our shoulders. So turn into the front. Side lunge, single arm raise. So step across, just lift one arm, and then pull back. Then step across, and lift the opposite arm, and pull back. So shoulders down, chest up nice and high. Breathe in, out to lift. Breath in, out to pull back. So in through the nose, out through the mouth, and up through the crown of the head. Feeling strong, Stay with singles or come to double arms. Now if you're using double arms, it's more tempting for the shoulders to rise, the upper trap to try and kick in. So even if you're not lifting the arms as high, just think about keeping your shoulders down and keeping your core switched on. So there's no change of position through the spine as you lift the arms. 2 to go. Get a little stretch in the right inner thigh, sorry. Last one. Step across and just take the feet wide. Right foot, left foot slight diagonal. And again, if you need less, you can put the weight down in the right hand. Hips over to the right and come into your windmills. So breathe in. Start to breathe out, sliding your ribs back towards your hips. Chin slightly drawn back towards the throat. So as you tip to the side, your ear, your shoulder, your hip, your knee, and your ankle are all directly in line. Now you might find the hip wants to sit back, so you might need to give your left buttock a little squeeze to square the hips to the front. And again, trying to keep that bottom squeeze to keep the hips in place. Slow breath. Breathe out strong. Try not to let the hips move. So the more we keep the hips still, the more we're working our waist. Just one more on this side. Shoulders is definitely feeling it this morning. And rest. Bring it down. Give your shoulders a little release. And then I think you can have a little lie down too. So we're going to come down onto our backs. We're going to work with some hip bridges. And the chest. So as we work the chest, we're going to be working slightly into the front of the shoulders as well. But these aren't doing too much, so they should be okay still. Hip bridges, single arm flies with opposite heel lifts. So have a quick look if you need to. Weights here, above your heart, not over your face. So when you pull the weights down, either side of your heart, you can feel the shoulders pulling away from your ears. Heels close to hips, soft elbows. You're going to lift the hips, roll up through the spine. Just doing a single arm fly on each side to begin with. And then lower the hips, keeping the weights either side of your heart. Now when you lower your right arm, just a little lift of your left heel and place it down. And then left arm, right heel, and roll back down through the spine. Now just retract your shoulders, pull them down into the ground and then down towards your back pockets. And really focus on holding the shoulders there as you move up through the spine. Now if you want to make it a little bit harder, rather than the heel lift, you can come in to a knee lift. And as the weight moves to the side, your body's really tempted to tip to the side. So we've got to work really slowly. We've got to think about squeezing the bottom before we lift the knee. Breathing in as you lower, breathing out with the lift. Smooth transition from one side to the other. And as you lift your right knee, squeeze your left buttock. And then as you lift your left knee, squeeze your right buttock. And think about stabilising the hips before you lift the heels or the knees. Chin slightly again nodded in. We're going to do one more of those. Now keeping your knee lifted, bring the arm back in. We're going to open both arms, lowering the hips halfway, squeezing the bottom, pressing the hips towards the ceiling, but still pressing both shoulders down to the ground. Option to keep the foot light on the floor, and just keep pushing out the opposite heel. 2 to go on this leg. Your last one. Hold, come down, rest the foot a second. Reset the shoulders. Come to the top of your hip bridge. Opposite knee lifts. Breathe in, open. You don't have to go too wide with the arms, but feel like you're opening the front of the shoulders. But feel the back of the shoulders press down as you push your hips up. Remember, you can rest the foot light on the floor, or just keep focusing on squeezing the bottom to push it with the hips. Breathe in to open, out to close, 2 to go. Your last one, and hips come down. Feet down, walk your feet further. So shoulders away from ears, slightly new move, elbows down towards the ribs. Keep the ribs down and take the weight towards the ears. Pull the elbows back to the ribs and push. So elbows by ribs. Keep the elbows at 90 degrees. Pull elbows back to ribs and press. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Soft breath in, out breath to push. So we're looking at shoulder stability. Want to be really aware that we're keeping both shoulders and the front of the ribs anchored down. If you feel the ribs lift, as you take your arms back, don't take the arms as far. Focus on keeping the ribs in place. So let's go another 4 here. Breathing in as you ease down, out to reach over, breath in, out to press, 2 to go. That's working some muscles up around the shoulders. Your last one. Now extend the arms. We're going to come back to the chest. So if you watch here, your elbows come down, reach out to a fly, come back to centre and press it in the middle. So it's a narrow press, we open to a fly, pull elbows to ribs and press back up to ceiling. So down, out, in and press. Breathe in, out, in, out. So again, feel your elbows coming in line with your bottom rib. Again, it's getting to the front of the shoulders, front of the chest. And we've just got 2 left here. And then we're going to have a little release. Hold. Put the weights down. And when you're ready from there, if you can in your own time, bring your hands up so your fingertips point to your toes, elbows in. I want you to push the hands into the floor so the arms are straight, and then just drive your hips forward up in line with your shoulders, keeping the chin tucked in. That should help to stretch out the biceps and the front of the arms. But again, using that little hip lift. Now just lower the hips halfway and come up for 10, 9. Try not to let the arms or the shoulders move. Just let the hips sink a little and squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, and your last one, and come down. Release the arms, give them a little roll, or a big roll. Right, taking more weight, or when you're ready, back to your collarbones and pull the elbows into the hips. We're going to roll with the chin in, and as we roll forward, we're going to reach the outside of the right knee. Bring it to the collarbones, and then towards the left knee. Now you don't have to roll too far back, it might just be to here, that feels good for your spine. You might feel coming all the way down. Maybe feels a little bit harder, but just brings that little bit more work into the abdominals. Now if you want to twist more, pull the weight back towards your hips. So you kind of touch the outside of your hip. But if you're pulling the weight further back, really be aware of your knees. Sometimes when you pull the weight further back, you'll feel the knees want to roll to help with the twist. You want the hips to stay anchored and level, and the rotation to come through the waist and the spine. And again, option just towards the outside of the knee. If it feels okay, coming all the way down to your shoulder blades. And as you come to the shoulder blades, weight comes to your collarbones. Smooth breath, strong breath. Once more to your left. And then you can come all the way back and down. resting the head. Find again your second weight. There it is. Triceps, leg extensions. So the elbows in, shoulders set, arms to here. So first option is to slide your left leg as you bend your right arm, and then to slide your right leg, left leg, vice versa. You know what I mean. Chin tucked in. When you bring the foot into the centre, keep it light. Keeping the feet on the floor or come into tabletop. If you come to tabletop, just tilt your pelvis slightly back so it imprints the spine. Now breathing into lower, out to extend. Upper arm stays still. Shoulders stay nice and grounded. And just notice as you move one leg, the opposite leg stays perfectly still. We're still trying to keep that soft imprint between your lower back and your mat. 2 more on each side. You can always come back to the heel slides if you feel the back's lifting. And again, just brace a little harder for your last one. Feet down, elbows down, weights down. Roll onto your side when you're ready. I think we give the arms a good old rest now. Little sequence with the legs. And again, if you want to make it a little harder, a couple of options. Weight held on your thigh. You can either lie down or from here, you can come onto your elbow. And again, if you come onto your elbow, you've got to focus on our posture. Hip away from rib, whether you're lying or up on your elbow. And then lift, bring the knee forward and lower. So come in, shin towards the front of the room. Now as you bring the knee forward, try not to let the trunk of your body move backwards. So almost push your chest forward as your knee comes forward. And again, too much on the elbow, just come into a lying position. When you lift the leg, keep the whole shin lifted. Sometimes you find the foot wants to hang down to the floor, so lift the foot as well. And that's going to bring even more work through your outer thigh and your hip. 2 to go. Just your leg lift next. So press down through the elbow if you're on your elbow and lift. 10, 9, no rush. Try not to let the shoulders or the hips roll back. Keep lifting through the outer thigh. Oh, there it is. 4 left. 3, 2, and your last one. Let it go. Change legs. A little turn of your bottom. Again, either lying down if you find that more comfortable, but yet challenging. Or again, elbow underneath your shoulder. If you're using the weight, just hold it in place with your hand nice and light. Stack the knees, push the hip away from the rib and lift your chest. When you're ready, knee lifts, comes forward and then lowers. Focus on your upper body first. Feel your collarbones are open. Feel your shoulder blades slightly squeezing together. If it starts to get too much, just put the weight down. Sometimes it gets too much and your body will start to move to help you get the movement. The more we keep the trunk stable, the more work in the outer thigh and hip. So give the elbow a little push into the floor. Feel like you're almost lifting your ribs, your armpits away from the ground. Just once more. Oh, they get tough. Just the leg lift. 10 leg lifts. 10. Slowly lower. Don't let the weight drop the leg down. So you're lifting and controlling it down slowly. Breathing out with the lift. Breathe in and release. Out through the mouth, in through the nose. 3 to go. Keep pressing to the elbow, keep stabilising through your shoulders. Control it to the release. Your last one, and hold. Ditch the weights. Now the hips have worked really hard, so we're going to give them a good stretch. If you roll onto your back when you're ready, we'll do our figure 4 stretch to release the hips. So in your own time, rest down, relax the head, the shoulders, and then bring your right foot over your left thigh. Press your left hip down and gently encourage your right knee away. Then breathe. Breathe out, press the bottom down, press the knee away. Option to take the hands behind your left thigh, gently hugging the knee in. And as you hug the knee in, you may notice your back goes into a little imprint, which is fine. When the stretch starts to release or ease, think about trying to press your tailbone, your bottom, back towards the floor. And you'll feel how that brings the back out of imprint into neutral. When you're in neutral, it levels the pelvis, and then we get even more stretch into that hip, if required. And then release the foot down when you're ready. Change legs, left over right. Right hip, press down, and then your left knee press forwards. Again, just staying here, it's about finding the stretch, a mild stretch in your hip. There's no point going further if that stretch is too strong. It's trying to find a mild stretch which allows the muscles to relax. And then if they relax, you might want to then lift the knee. Notice the back's going into a soft imprint. When the stretch releases, then you can think about pressing the tailbone, the bottom, back towards the floor. You can almost just move your hips slightly from side to side, just very slightly, just so you find that, what we call a sweet spot, that extra stretch into the hips. And then release your leg. Take the feet wide, keep the ribs still and the hips, and just let the knees move from side to side. So we don't want the pelvis to rock, we just want to move from the hip joints. So as your knees go to the left, press your right buttock down, and as they go to the right, press your left buttock down. So again, the pelvis itself doesn't move, and we just release into the hips. And hold. Take the arms up, take a nice big reach back, turn your palms up, and then just circle the hands out to the side and let the arms drop towards the floor. So you just feel a nice opening across your chest and your shoulders. Then bring the arms forward again, lift them. Once you're here, turn the palms up as the arms come back, and slowly press the ribs down, and as you bring the arms wide, keep the front of the ribs down and almost let the arms hang towards the floor. And then circle back towards the heels, and then lift the arms. So if when you take the arms back, the ribs flare, you're not going to feel a stretch here. If you draw the front of the ribs down, so you can feel the back of the ribs onto the floor, elbows are soft, and keep the palms facing up to the ceiling as you bring the arms out nice and wide. Just moving through each part of your chest. And again, breathe in, reach back. Press the ribs down, turn your palms up, let the arms almost feel heavy. And again, just slowly bring them out to the side, feeling the release through the shoulders. And then when you come to the centre this time, hug in your knees, tuck in your chin. Push the knees into the hands, and then tuck in the chin and pull yourself forward with your knees back up into seated. And then a roll over when you're ready. Hands underneath your shoulders and knees just beneath the hips. Lengthen out the spine, and then come to your full cat stretch. Tailbone scoops under, back arches, then your bottom lowers, and your chest lifts. Chin tucks in, you're looking towards your thighs. Now again, lift the bottom, lift your heart, so you get the spine into extension, and then feel the back round as you move into flexion. Once more each way. And then all you have to do from there is get back on your feet, toes tuck. So if you can from here, just a little lift of the knees, walking the feet forward if you can, or walk the hands back. Bend the knees as much as you need to as you come into your fold. Bring the chin into the chest, you're trying to really look back towards your thighs, and let the crown of the head hang towards the ground. Knees stay soft, belly button lifted to back, and then a nice slow roll through the spine when you're ready. Nice big restack. And as you come into the centre, we're going to reach both arms over the head. So nice big lift. Then take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand and gently pull your arm across. Press your left heel down. And then come into the centre. Take your right wrist, and again just gently pulling the arm over, but pressing your right heel into the floor at the same time. Little tuck at the bottom, and then ease into the centre. Reach up as high as you can, and then pull both shoulder blades down. Breathe in, lift, and release. And well done, ladies and gents. That was a little bit tougher than I expected this morning, but quite enjoyed it actually.